there was a truck. I was like, you don't even know if that's the right truck. And he just started shooting them. I told those fools no. I don't know.
This is 26-year-old gang member Daniel Gomez. He's just admitted to his role in a deadly drive-by shooting that claimed the life of an 11-year-old boy. 2 weeks earlier, Gomez and two friends were at a baseball game when they thought they spotted a rival gang member in the crowd. Hours later, as they left the stadium, they came across a car they believed belonged to that rival crew. Without hesitation, they opened fire, unleashing 14 rounds into the vehicle. But they were wrong. Inside wasn't a rival gang member. It was an innocent family.
Okay, what do you got? Where?
I can't move.
And she was running through the street with the baby in her arms, and she stopped us and she said, call the cops, my son's been shot.
On the evening of September 6, 2023, just before 9 p.m., police were called to the scene of a shooting in Albuquerque, New Mexico. A black SUV had reportedly opened fire on a white pickup truck near Isotopes Park Stadium. Inside the truck was 23-year-old Tatiana Villegas. In the back seat sat her aunt, Maria Villegas, along with her two young children, an 11-year-old boy and a 3-month-old infant. Officers rushed to the location immediately.
She got shot in the rib.
We have a secondary victim, female, about 25 years of age, shot in the ribs and possibly the arm. We start at 4655. I don't.
Here's all I got. Chest seals, right?
That's it.
Hey, hold on real quick.
Tatiana had been shot 5 times and was in critical condition. Officers quickly rushed to her aid, working desperately to keep her conscious until paramedics arrived. She was rushed to the hospital as her terrified family stood by, helpless and horrified.
I swear up God, we're good people. We don't do anything to anybody. They probably think it was somebody else.
Maria Viz, the mother in the back seat, was exactly right. Just a minutes earlier, Tatiana had been peacefully driving her family home from a baseball game, unaware of the horror about to unfold. Meanwhile, only a few feet behind, 22-year-old Jose Romero was at the wheel of a black Dodge Durango, accompanied by his two friends, 21-year-old Nathan Garley and 26-year-old Daniel Gomez. Earlier that night, at the game, Romero had spotted a rival gang member, the same one who had stolen a chain from him weeks earlier, fueled by revenge. Romero and Garley had tracked what they believed to be his car and decided to open fire. But the most tragic news of all had yet to be delivered to the Villas family. Unfortunately, TPO was not the only one in the vehicle that was struck by the gunshots.
How's my son? Please tell me. Yes, you guys.
I do not know. They're working on it right now. Stay here, okay?
No, please. Did they see him now?
I don't know. I know the ambulance was working on it.
Okay, what did you see?
I saw the lady coming out of the cart, and she was running through the street with the baby in her arms.
What lady?
The mom of the baby, the son.
Okay, in the truck?
Yeah, and she goes out and she was trying to wake him up, get him up, you know. And then she came to the truck and she stopped us and she says, call the cops, my son's been shot.
Did you see anything at all before that? Did you hear anything?
No, we were just traffic was coming going.
You were in the truck too?
I was driving.
Okay.
11-year-old Viz, who had been sitting in the back seat of the truck, was tragically struck in the head. The bullet took his life instantly.
This is what I have so far. Okay. Black Jeep Cherokee. They were at the game, and then mom, who was in the truck. Yeah. They were driving westbound, and this car. They said they started shooting at them from I don't know where. It was a black Jeep Cherokee traveling westbound. Last time it was seen here in Redbury.
Okay. I've got a casing right there.
She said there was a guy out of the sunroof with what looked like a rifle. I have the male in the truck. His name's Orlando Villegas. He was born in 2012.
So he's 11.
Yeah. So Tatiana Villegas was the female driver. She was COT to UNMH.
How old is she?
She was born in 99.
Okay, so she's
She's an adult.
That's not her kid though?
That's not her kid.
Is that her brother, or how are they
I think
related?
it's her niece.
So niece and nephew.
Niece and nephew of her. And
Okay.
she was in the back seat with her son, Pablo Villegas.
So mom of this 1030, who's 10-7, was in the truck with him.
Yes, in the back seat.
And female passenger who got shot 3 times was sitting there.
In the driver's seat.
Okay, she was driving. Mom was in the back seat.
Yes. Of her aunt.
And they just started shooting.
That's what
For no reason.
That's what she's saying.
Officers use the term 10-7, a code meaning out of service or no longer operational. In this heartbreaking instance, it was their way of confirming the unimaginable. Frain Villas had been declared dead at the scene. The tragic chaos had not only claimed the life of an 11-year-old boy, but also left Tatiana Villegas permanently paralyzed from the waist down. With the situation slowly stabilizing, investigators turned their attention to the difficult task ahead, figuring out how such a horrifying event had unfolded. So far, all they had were the original 911 calls reporting gunfire and a vague mention of a black vehicle. After already questioning those who were merely nearby when it happened, officers now shifted their focus to witnesses.
I'm not sure what all information you guys got. I was right there in the fucking crossfire. We did not get hit or nothing.
Did you get a good look at the person who was shooting?
I did not know his name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where were you guys at? Did you hear anything?
Yeah, because we were walking that way, and then once we get over there, we see a black Durango walk this way, and it had 60 windows, and then after it gets right here, we just hear like five gunshots, like 3 or 4.
Did you guys see anybody in the car?
No, they had all their windows up, and they were black.
Police now knew they were searching for a black Durango and the individuals behind the reckless shooting, but identifying the main suspects wouldn't be easy. Detectives still had no clear motive for the sudden, violent attack. With few leads to go on, officers returned to the victims the following day, hoping to uncover any overlooked details that might help them crack the case.
First and foremost, my condolences to you both, okay? I've heard some of the statements that you're wondering why. That's a question you can ask. So many families have asked that.
I was there with my baby. And they were just supposed to like, I believe what is university.
Yeah.
And I started hearing like boom, but I didn't know what was going on. And then she suddenly stopped the truck, and then that's when I saw this black SUV, I believe, with that guy coming up from the sunroof with a big rifle. And then my son went like this. And I said, Daddy, what's wrong? What's happening? And she said, I can't move. Yeah, just call an ambulance. And I grabbed my son's face, and he was full of blood, you know. And I slapped him, and I said, Freud. But in that moment, I knew he was dead because he was with his eyes open. So I grabbed the baby from the car seat, and I got out from the truck, and I started screaming, you know, for help, and nobody stopped.
This was the kind of nightmare no family should ever have to face. Investigators knew time was critical, not just for the Villegas family, but above all, for 11-year-old Frain. The next day, a crucial update came in. Tatiana had survived. For detectives, this changed everything. She wasn't just a survivor, she was the only known witness. Her account could be the key to identifying the suspects and uncovering the truth about what unfolded that harrowing night.
Hello, Tatiana. My name's David. I'm gonna go easy with you, okay? Pleasure meeting you. Okay, sorry it's meeting you in such a way. The reason why we're here is I'm the primary detective handling you and your nephew's case, okay?
So all I heard was like boom, boom, boom. And then I turned and looked at my auntie, and I was like, did we hit something? Or That's when I just saw my body go numb, like my stomach. I felt
Okay. So you said you heard a distinctive boom, boom, boom. Okay. When the car started to pass you, when you're looking at the car, could you see over the top of the cab of the car? Was it higher than you, or was it lower than
No,
you?
it was like after like the shots, I just stopped, and that's when I saw the guy at the top.
Okay.
Shoot.
Okay, the guy on the top shooting. Okay. Did you ever see the driver of that car? No. Okay. When the car went by, how many people were shooting at you?
I only saw the guy whenever he passed and he was at the top. I only saw him.
You only saw one guy.
One
Okay.
guy shooting, and he was standing at the top of the sunroof.
The details matched what witnesses had previously told police, except for one crucial point. Tatiana was adamant that there had only been one gunman who opened fire. Then came the first real breakthrough. Anonymous tips from the public pointed detectives toward two suspected gang members, Blick and Risk, marking the first significant lead in the case. But the investigation was far from over. A third suspect remained at large, and until he was found, the full picture couldn't be drawn. Then came a startling twist. Just one day after the shooting, the man allegedly in conflict with Risk took to Instagram to taunt him, posting, "You shot at the wrong truck." That message gave investigators what they needed, the identity of the intended target, Isaiah Vasquez, who remarkably had not been harmed in the attack. 5 days after the shooting, Vasquez was brought in for questioning.
Have you had any problems with anybody over the past couple weeks?
Full set on.
You sure about that?
Yeah.
You're positive on that?
Although Vasquez wasn't considered a suspect, investigators were convinced he was holding something back, that he knew far more than he was willing to admit.
So I got information about, what's your girlfriend's name? Sabrina and her boyfriend, which we did find you.
Okay.
Had an argument with a rival gang member. Okay.
Okay. I'm not from the gang at all.
Okay. This is how it was brought to me. I'm not here to point fingers.
No, I'm here listening. That's fine.
And that person who had that argument with you, we'll just leave the whole gang portion out of it now. Okay. Wanted to shoot you. The information is very specific that you had a similar colored vehicle, my victim's vehicle.
Okay.
And looking up your vehicle, your information, you have owned in your history a Dodge Crew Cab white pickup truck, whatever you call it. With that, do you have anything to say about that? Has anyone confronted you or argued with you?
I went home with that, you know what I mean? I didn't, nothing like happened while I was like around me.
Okay.
His responses, though seemingly cooperative, were evasive, and his indifferent attitude left detectives increasingly frustrated.
So like he mentioned, like you're not in trouble, right? Yeah. The investigation led us to believe that you could help us out. I can tell you hesitated with it, right? So what truck do you have?
I drove a Ram.
A Ram?
Yeah.
This is the crew car?
Is that the Ford?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We think somebody wanted to hurt you.
Yeah.
We're pretty sure of that. Okay. So, but we know that you had an argument with somebody. Okay. And I know that other person wanted to hurt you, but I think they hurt somebody else who attempted to try to hurt you.
Oh, really?
Isaiah was clearly putting on an act and seemed to know much more than he was admitting. However, without concrete evidence linking him to any argument at the game, police couldn't prove his involvement. The fact that he drove a vehicle similar to the victim's naturally raised suspicion, but that alone wasn't enough to implicate him in the gang-related feud. What detectives truly needed was a detailed description of the prime suspects, but Isaiah refused to give them one, firmly claiming he had no idea who they were.
So Blake wasn't there, huh?
I don't know who that is.
That guy, Risk either. Jose, Nathan.
Officers had uncovered the street names of two prime suspects, Blick, identified as Nathan Garley, and Risk, identified as Jose Romero. While this gave detectives a clearer idea of who they were looking for, they still had no clue where the men were hiding. With Isaiah's interrogation yielding nothing useful, the investigation had hit a frustrating standstill. Much to the relief of investigators, their breakthrough came just a day later. On September 13, none other than Nathan Garley, also known as Blick, was pulled over by state police while returning from Arizona. Inside his vehicle, authorities discovered a firearm and roughly 100,000 tablets. After running his information, officers realized he was already a wanted suspect in connection to the Frienvias murder. His arrest proved pivotal. It led them directly to Jose Romero, who was also en route to Arizona and was taken into custody that same day. With 2 of the 3 suspects now in custody, only 26-year-old Daniel Gomez remained at large. But in an unexpected turn, police didn't have to search long. Just one day after Garley and Romero's arrests made headlines, Gomez voluntarily walked into the police station and turned himself in. During questioning, Daniel admitted he had been inside the black Dodge Durango that night, but he was determined to share his own version of events.
Having these rights in mind, do you wish to speak to me?
I want to speak with the attorney first.
You do?
Something that, I just would feel comfortable with someone present with me that knows more about legally. It's not like, because I'm here to talk to you guys. There's a reason I came to you guys.
Yeah.
So I feel like I would feel more comfortable with someone that knows more about these things.
No, it's absolutely fine.
At first, Daniel made the wise choice by invoking his right to an attorney. But it wasn't long before he changed his mind.
With that, we're done. I can't go any further. I'll be direct with you. You're under arrest. You've been charged with an open count of murder. Numerous other, like shooting from a motor vehicle, attempted murder. I understand each one of you have the same charges.
Suddenly, Daniel changed course. Confronted with serious charges, he realized he had only one option left: to share his side of the story.
Each one of you have the same charges. Each one of you.
So I got a question, just a question.
That's fine. I can answer questions.
If I was to speak to you guys today, what would happen exactly? I want to do this because it isn't right what happened, and you guys need to know.
Yeah.
But the only thing is, if I do this, my family gonna die. That's my question.
Police now had to figure out whether Daniel was genuinely being threatened by the other men and feared retaliation if he spoke out, or if the entire story was a fabrication meant to cover up his deeper involvement in the crime.
If we could solidify some of that stuff, that may help you. We might be able to solidify some of your statements of the threats to you.
Well, it all started about 10 o'clock in the morning. I had asked a friend who goes by Risk if he wanted to go have some dinner. When he picked me up, there was another guy, they call him Blick. I have known Risk for a long time, known like his family and stuff, but I've never known his friends, so.
Okay.
Daniel's motive from this point seems fairly obvious. While he describes Risk as a longtime friend, he admits to barely knowing Blick. Naturally, it would be easier and more convenient for him to shift all the blame onto someone he wasn't close to, rather than implicate his friend.
We had finished up eating, and then we went to play some games at his house. We leave his house, we're headed towards the game, everything's okay. We get to the game. So we start heading to our seats when I didn't really know the situation. All I knew is that a dude, he goes by the name of, or at least that I know is Boss Dinero. I guess they had told me he had robbed Risk for one of his chains or whatever. So when we see them, I don't know what's really going on. Blick and that Boss Dinero guy are kind of smiling at each other. All of a sudden, that guy starts heading towards the far exit. Risk says, "Hey, we have to go." I said, "Why?" He says, "Because I have to go pick up my daughter, so we have to go." Blick says, he turns to Risk and he says, hey, that fool circling around with some homies with the Mac looking for us. So they jumped in the car and they pulled up to me and they told me to get in. We were about to leave. I was like, hey, can you just take me home? I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I'm not really feeling comfortable. He's like, just hold up. We're looking for somebody real quick. And I was like, who? And he just kept saying, my cousin. There was a truck, a white truck, Dodge truck. And Blake goes, there's that truck. I was like, you don't even know if that's the right truck. I said, stop acting like an idiot. I said, Riz, take me home. Riz like took off and I ducked and I screamed no. And he jumped out the sunroof and he just started shooting them. And so they flew all the way back to Risk's and I was crying. I said, you guys gotta let me go home, you know? And that's when Blake turned around and he told me, he said, if you tell anyone about this, go to anyone. I know where your grandma stays and I know where you stay. And I told him I wouldn't say nothing.
What initially appeared to be a straightforward gang-related incident had now taken a far more complicated turn. Daniel insisted he had no involvement in the horrifying events that unfolded and claimed he feared for his own life.
And it's haunted me. It was just an innocent baby. And I told those fools no. They just wouldn't let me out the car. I just wanted to get out the car. I didn't want to be in that situation. I don't want to be in that situation at all, sir. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I didn't come sooner. I was just so scared for my life. I'm still scared. I don't know what's gonna happen to me. These guys have a lot of money, a lot of power. It's not funny, it's scary. At this point, I don't care what's been said about me. That little boy needs justice. He needs justice.
Daniel may be digging his own grave by admitting he was at the scene of the crime. In doing so, he's essentially implicated himself, and the statements he's made only add to the growing suspicion around him, raising serious questions about whether he's telling the truth or simply trying to save himself.
For what the fuck happened to him, no kid should ever have to go through that. That's why I'm here and I'm doing what I'm doing right now.
Was it Risk who cocked the gun?
No, it was Blake who cocked the gun. Risk
Blake.
was driving the car.
Risk was driving.
Risk kind of was doing the same thing I was, telling him no. You know what I'm saying? Don't do it. And he didn't give a fuck. He just did it.
No remorse. It's like he had done it before. Okay. You know, it was like he was already used to it. To him, it was nothing but a little adrenaline rush.
Daniel quickly pointed to BCK as the main perpetrator, even claiming that both he and Risk had tried to stop the shooting. According to his version of events, they were reluctant participants, arguing against the violence and insisting that the white pickup Blick targeted wasn't even the intended one.
I know that day we went to the apartments, there was a girl there, but he didn't introduce me to her. She was a blonde girl, real petite, short, big lips, nice pretty smile.
What police knew for certain was that Daniel had been in the car that ended the life of an 11-year-old boy. Whether it was guilt weighing on him or a desperate attempt to shift blame, Daniel made sure to provide a description of someone else who might have been involved. With this new lead, investigators turned their focus to a blonde girl, Jose Romero's girlfriend, Jana Garcia.
Even though, I'm scared for my life, to talk and speak up, but it's only the right thing, I think, at this point.
Jana echoed Daniel's claims, saying she feared for her life and didn't want to snitch. In gang culture, loyalty and brotherhood are everything, strengthened by an us versus them mentality, where speaking out isn't just frowned upon, it can be a death sentence. But this code of silence doesn't protect them. It only tightens the noose. Jana's hesitation to talk, shaped by this very culture, made her involvement in the killing all the more suspicious.
Nathan is the one that shot at the vehicle.
Okay.
He goes by Blick here in the streets. The people that he thought was driving that, Nathan had a shootout with them like 2 months ago, I think. And then going on this about the shooting of the 11-year-old, Nathan was the one that shot out the car. I'm not protecting Daniel or nothing, but Daniel, like, he's an angel. Like, Daniel, he really didn't do anything.
Although Jana's remarks come off as questionable, her comments about Daniel Gomez stand out. Despite barely knowing him, she goes out of her way to defend his character, prompting a deeper question: is she shielding Daniel to prevent him from saying anything that could bring all three of them down? She places the blame squarely on Nathan, but as Jose's girlfriend, it's just as likely she's using him as a convenient fall guy.
If you do know that information, probably best to give that up, because they will come down to the minute details of everything in court. And that's what I'm trying to make sure that I put the right person, because they're all charged the same. Until we get all the information that we need, they will all be charged the same.
Yeah, I did see that.
Jana Garcia, 22, was charged with tampering with evidence after assisting Jose Romero and Nathan Garley in disposing of the SUV used in the shooting. Meanwhile, Garley, Romero, and Daniel Gomez all face charges of murder, attempted murder, and conspiracy. The death of young Villegas marked Albuquerque's second fatal child shooting in just a month, leading Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham to declare gun violence a public health emergency. In the wake of the tragedy, the Villegas family launched a GoFundMe campaign for Tatiana's recovery, which raised over $40,000.